What we're about to watch feels like the opening scene of the opening movie of a $1 billion franchise. Right? Everything is set in place. The actors, they're great. The budget, it's massive. The people behind the scenes, they're smart. And obviously there's enough moving pieces, there's enough characters in play to keep the storyline fresh for quite a few years. So get ready for this, guys. The next tip ball will commence. The Celtics versus Warriors era in the NBA. This isn't some prisoner of the moment feeling either. I remember old Colin Cowherd thinking, this era would start in 2019. You obviously didn't account for Kyrie Irving blood sucking the life out of one of those teams. But, that was a prisoner of the moment feeling. Everyone knew at the time. You could just tell. Now, obviously, KD and Kyrie are watching their old teams in the NBA Finals from home. But in this NBA Finals, the Celtics versus Warriors, there's going to be one overarching theme that's going to be spoke about by nauseam, by everybody, right? From beginning to end, and that is experience. On one hand, we have the Celtics, led by an undisputed, now we can say undisputed top 10 player in the league, right? Who's played now in 3 conference finals in the last 5 years. His 2 other stars have played in 4 conference finals in the last 6. 4 out of the last 6. And yet Tatum, nor anyone else on the Celtics roster, have ever crossed the line to play in the NBA Finals. So what happens? We talk about him and their team like they're college kids who are about to meet the dream team. Right? Like the oxygen is not the same when you enter the NBA Finals. Like those 2 Game 7s, one against the championship Bucks, the other against the first seeded Miami Heat. Oh, that's conference finals, mate. That doesn't hold a torch to the atmosphere of a finals game. We know the Warriors, they have a combined 123 finals games. Which is, it's actually a fair stat because it's actually the best players who have the experience, right? It's the leaders who have the experience. Saying that, because Philadelphia have someone like Danny Green, who's been now in 4 NBA Finals. Would then now make the whole team much more at ease if they ever did squeeze their way into June, into an NBA Finals? Or because, all the other players know, we have a guy who's been there before. No, that's ridiculous. I'm wasting time. That doesn't mean anything, okay? That stat means much because those are the leaders of the team, right? The Warriors supporting cast look up to Steph, they look up to Clay, they look up to Draymond, who are not even, at this point, half the culture. I love Jordan Poole. They're not half the culture. Those big 3, they're the complete culture of the Warriors. But I don't think that should mean much to the Celtics, who have slayed dragons, who have slayed freaks, who have slayed demigods, and everything else in between that exists within Brooklyn and Milwaukee and Miami. The inexperience factor that leads to, we all speak about it, that leads to choking and putting your heads down and collapsing fourth quarters and just the feeling of massive pressure. It shouldn't be a huge issue for a team that's been playing together for the most part for 5 years. They've been mostly playing together for 5 years and just topped off one of the most, and I say it's the most impressive Eastern Conference Finals run since 2000. And we got it up. I went through the list of the Eastern Conference runs, right? The team that made it to the finals, who do they have to beat, right? And this was it. This was the best of the best. Your best contestants are the 2012 Miami Heat, obviously took on Carmelo's Knicks, a forgottenly pretty good Indiana Pacers team, and the last, hoorah, 2012 Celtics team. But, none of those teams were favorites like the Bucks or the Nets. We got the 09 Magic, who ran through the 76ers, then back-to-back beatdowns coming off once. They beat down the coming-off championship Celtics with no Kevin Garnett, bit of an asterisk. And, I don't like saying the word asterisk, whatever. And, the Cleveland, the young LeBron James Cleveland squad. You got Iverson's 01 squad, went through Reggie Miller's Pacers 1 year after they made the NBA Finals. And then just like the Celtics today, 2 Game 7s. One against the Raptors, Vince Carter, Vince Sanity was awesome. And the other against the Bucks. Dodgy series, whatever. Oh, actually, we'll throw in the 05 Pistons run. We'll throw them in. Philly, Pacers, and Heat. Just because in 05, Shaq was still an animal when he wanted to be. But, going down that line, I think this Eastern Conference run right now by the Celtics stands completely on its own, at least from the 2000s onwards. Just have a look at this stat right here. Jason Tatum is one of the 4 players in NBA history to reach the finals, averaging 25, 5, and 5 before turning 25. That's amazing. What's more amazing, like all these cool stats, look at the company, right? Obviously now, Wade and Kobe both needed the big guy to win their first championship. Tatum is actually being the big guy. He is the big guy in the Celtics. And he's obviously not LeBron, but LeBron didn't have near the help of Tatum. So I wouldn't read too much into that stat. Likewise, I also wouldn't read too much. I've seen this being brought up a lot. The Celtics are 9-5 against the Warriors in the last 7 seasons. Or that, this Celtics team is the only team in the league that Steve Kerr doesn't have a winning percentage over. The Warriors have many new and interesting parts. One of those is being Wiggins. Wiggins is going to be massive this series. A player who can defend wings and defend them well. He can defend them well. Good days, he can defend them well. But even with Steph, Draymond, I guess we can rely on Clay. I'm not sure I can rely on Wiggins every night. Definitely not offensively. What about Jordan Poole? I love Jordan Poole. Last season, he was in the G League. Fact. Last season, Jordan Poole was in the G League. It's not like he has done really anything for me to question his reliability in a big game, other than 3 points in Game 5 at Memphis and 12 in Game 6. So, the Celtics would be more scared if that was Tyler Hero, who has a history in big games, has a history of coming up in big moments against the Celtics as well. Jordan Poole is not as scary as Tyler Hero, because this is what people imply when they talk about experience. Plays stepping up, others melting down the lights. Well, guess what? The Warriors might have their big 3 names, and that's what everyone likes to lead with, their big 3 names. But nearly everyone else are new blood. Looney, everyone else new bloods. You can't say that about the Celtics. Cannot say that about the Celtics. Game 1 will be a massive, massive game. And just because of how many times I watched the Celtics completely just switch off and collapse, I'm tipping the Warriors in 7. But I have a lot of questions, and I think a lot of them will be answered in Game 1. It's going to be an awesome series. I can't wait. And we're going to cover every game as well as every preview of every game every goddamn day right here. So like and subscribe. See you in the next one.